Hey guys, I wanted you guys to check out this awesome 2023 Lincoln Navigator here. Of course, this is the facelifted Navigator here in this really cool blue color over the sandstone tan interior. Massive 22-inch wheels, and of course the refreshed design on the 23 Navigator. Now, it's not an all-new vehicle like the ActiveGlide and stuff, but I still think the Navigator has a really unique charm. It has the twin-turbocharged EcoBoost V6 engine under the hood. It actually makes a crazy exhaust note for what it is, pushing over 400 horsepower as well. So it's pretty powerful and torquey. Full-time four-wheel drive system, of course. We have our power rear liftgate as well. And of course, for the facelifted model year, we do get these newer LED taillights right here, really sleek going across, massive power trunk, and this is actually the short wheelbase version. There is a longer wheelbase version called the extended wheelbase that you can't get. Obviously that's not this one. And this one has, like I said, the sandstone interior. Of course, we have power running boards on the side as well. Sandstone interior is pretty nice, so it's this nice bright kind of tan leather over this darker trim, and it's really nice open pore wood finish. We do have a lot of gloss black, unfortunately, though. The Revel audio system has these really beautiful metal speaker grills front and back. Of course, the Navigator is a massive SUV, so of course we have 3 rows of seating. This one has the captain chairs in the center console without the center console. Of course, they fold down, and you have adjustment, and you do have armrests in the center, which is pretty nice. Hopping inside, like I said, they are adjustable, so I could put these back. I have more leg room. It's pretty spacious back here. You have pockets on the back of the seats. You have your own climate adjustments as well. Some giant cup holders down here and some power outlets, which is really nice. Love that. And it is pretty roomy back here with this panoramic roof. I really do like that. And back here, you actually have space. So you can hop back here and fit adults. And this seat is all the way pushed back, actually, and I can fit back here, which is impressive. And again, this is not the extended wheelbase, which is even bigger. Third row passengers do get climate vents as well, some interior ambient lighting, which is pretty nice. Charging ports as well. No USB-C, but there are charging ports. And of course, the seats are power adjustment, as you can see right there, so you can put them up and down using those buttons. And those are also accessible in the trunk as well, so you don't have to use them right there. This is just kind of like a reclining feature, actually, which is pretty impressive for third row seats. Of course, they're not heated or cooled, but that's not really a super common feature in the third row. Love the Lincoln formats as well, the Lincoln branded weather formats. I believe that's an optional extra. And I love some of the details they have in here, like even the grab handles have this leather stitching on it, which is really nice. Gives it a much more premium feel. And this front cabin is awesome. Really wide center console. You can see this really beautiful open pore wood trim, and these are the perfect position seats, as they call them, and there's an incredible amount of adjustment with these. We'll get to in a second. And you can see that sandstone interior really brightens up everything with that open pore wood. We have the updated larger Sync 4 entertainment system, and yeah, let's go take a little bit of a hop up there so I can show you guys what it's like. Let's go around the vehicle so I can show you guys the front as well. Again, more of that nice leather grab hooks right here, really nice feeling. It's nice stitching on them. And this one doesn't have an Alcantara headliner. That's only on the BlackLabel models, really, when you pay fully extra. This one comes in at $103,000 already, so it's still expensive, but it can get more expensive. This is a reserve trim Navigator. So the Navigator badge on there, running boards will go up. Not a big fan of these 22-inch wheels, but there are different options you can get. For the facelift, we do get the updated headlights, so we have this newer dual beam design with this big Lincoln signature LED running light. I really like this Lincoln Motor Company insignia kind of printed into the headlights right there. Looks really cool. We also have additional running lights down there. I believe there's fog lights down there as well that will turn on. Big imposing grille with the Lincoln badge right here. These can actually illuminate with the right package. We also have little Lincoln stars emulated throughout the grille, which I think looks really nice. Let's go hop up to the front now. No soft closed doors, which is annoying, but none of these big truck-based SUVs really do, actually. Even the ActiveGlide doesn't. And of course, this also does not have air suspension. This is a regular kind of independent suspension setup. One thing to point out, the ActiveGlide does have that. So sandstone interior, like we were just talking about, really nice metal speaker grills. Love those. They look and feel really premium. And all of your seating controls are on your door panel, and thankfully they are, because there are so many. It would kind of be annoying to have them down there. So you do have a lot of stuff here. So you can adjust your 2 upper pits, you can adjust your headrest, you can adjust your lower portion like a whole bunch of different ways, your thigh adjustments, and then you have a massaging button, and then more adjustments for even more settings within the infotainment system, because they can't fit them all on buttons. You can see these 2 pieces move, your side bolsters move, these side bolsters move, and there's a whole bunch of different air panels in there that also move. It's a lot of adjustment. You can kind of get a better look on this seat over there. You could also, passenger also gets all those adjustments as well. These seats are heated and cooled. We also have some additional storage down here, which is really nice. Big floating console. There's a lot of space in here as well. Again, that open pore wood looks really, really premium. It's on the dash as well. And down here, more Lincoln branded floor mats. Nice illuminated Lincoln aluminum side plate as well. And yeah, let's go hop in the interior so I can show you guys more of the Navigator. Okay guys, getting deeper into the Navigator. You really do gotta step up on those running boards to get in here. You really have to slam this door shut, otherwise it will not close. I think soft close would have solved that issue, but we don't have that on this, unfortunately. I really like this kind of star animation just playing while you get in the vehicle. It also happens on the infotainment display. And then when you start up the Navigator, there's a nice start stop button up here. There's cool animations on the displays. The Detroit Symphony Orchestra chimes. And if you can hear on video, you can actually hear the rumble of the V6 and the exhaust. It sounds like a V8. I won't lie, actually. It's a really cool exhaust note, and I'm impressed that Lincoln was able to do that with this TwinTurbo EcoBoost V6. So now that we are inside, we can see it is the updated version because we have Lincoln's ActiveGlide system. So this allows you to take your hands off the wheel on select roadways in the United States. Specifically on highways, actually. So you have to be going in a straight line, and you really do got to keep your eyes on this, because if you take your eyes off of this, it will detect it and it will beep at you like crazy. We also have a massive color heads-up display right there. I'm not sure if it's going to come off completely on camera, but it is huge in person. I really do like it. Fully adjustable as well. Again, this trim in here is really, really high quality feeling. It's true open pore wood. It feels like better than a Maserati open pore wood. I'm going to say that from my experience from the 2 brands. This is really, really nice. And these are huge panels. You have a wireless charging mat in here, 2 USB ports, cigarette lighter, and some ambient lighting in there as well, which is really nice. Then you have your dual cup holders right here, which also I think illuminate at night. More storage. And then this center console, I believe it can be optioned with a fridge, is absolutely massive. It is so deep in there. Like, it's so big, and you can fit a lot of stuff in there. You also have this little tray to kind of put more stuff on top, and that can be moved around, which is nice. These, of course, are stitched into leather, really soft and comfortable, and we also have that open pore wood trim on there as well, which feels really nice. Lincoln has always had their piano key gear selectors right there, so that's right there and featured. Physical climate controls, this is really nice. Heated and cooled seats, which is also fantastic. I love this dial as well, so for your physical climate controls, but this will also bring up additional settings in the infotainment display right there, so you can have those 2 options. This infotainment display has been definitely improved. It's much larger. It fills up this whole kind of area now, and it's fine. It's fine for what it is. I don't have too much complaints. Sometimes on startup, it definitely takes a little bit to kind of get going. It's a little slow sometimes on startup. A little bit of some lag between menus, but otherwise I think it's okay. Pretty quick to zoom and pinch to zoom, which is pretty impressive on the maps. And of course you have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so if you don't want to use the Lincoln systems, don't worry about that. You do have adjustable ambient lighting on the interior, if I can find it. A lot of menus to go through. There is a lighting button somewhere. I know there is. Ambient lighting, it's all the way back here. Oh, not 911 assist. Ambient lighting, yes. So you have different ambient lighting colors you can adjust. Obviously, we're not gonna be able to see that right now. It is daytime, and you can adjust the brightness of those. Pretty nice. And of course, we have the Rebel audio system, which is really nice sounding as well. Big climate vents. You do have a 360 camera, which is quickly accessible with this button. Unfortunately, you can press that whenever you want. It doesn't give you like that really advanced system where you kind of like go around the whole vehicle. You have to kind of select these individual camera displays right here to kind of go to each view. Tow hitch view, and then your 360 view is this tiny little screen over here, which is really, really annoying. And you can zoom in on them. I wish Lincoln kind of improved this, kind of make it that really advanced 360 camera. You can drag the vehicle around. Cheaper cars have that, and Lincoln doesn't. So this is $103,000. So I'd like to see that on future models, and that'd be really cool. Not much has changed with this display. I believe it got quicker. Really basic information there, and you can change it with your drive mode selector right here. So there are different drive modes for this car. You can go into normal and conserve and excite, which is kind of like the, I guess, the sportier mode. And then we have, I believe there's a off-road normal 4x4 auto, slippery mode, and there is a deep conditions mode. So you get a lot of different drive modes on offer, and they each offer these really cool like globes on there, which is pretty interesting. You can see it's changing the four-wheel drive system settings, and all this stuff is configurable with these buttons on the steering wheel. You can see you have your access to your automatic or adaptive cruise control system right there, and your heads-up display and all these other quick access buttons. Paddle shifters for the 10-speed gearbox if you want to use those. I honestly don't recommend using that in the Navigator. And let me just show you really quickly the additional seat controls. So when you press this button, it turns on your massage, but when you press this button, you'll see on the infotainment display, it brings up all these additional seat controls that you can adjust. And you can see where it's being adjusted on the screen, on the different parts of the seat. On the seat, and all of these controls can't be fitted into the buttons because there's so many different adjustments, and it does definitely take time to get used to kind of like get your own perfect position, but you do have that adjustment available. And then the massage function actually works really well. You have a variety of different options there, and it's pretty impressive actually. It uses the air bladder system, so it actually feels quite nice. So I do like the massage settings on the Lincoln, and it takes a little bit to turn off. And yeah, that's pretty much it with, I think, this interior. Again, we have this really nice panoramic roof, which really opens up the cabin. And of course, there's a shade you can open and close that with. And you get a nice big view into the back of the Navigator to see all of that massive space. And of course, this is the short wheelbase. You can also get this in a longer wheelbase configurator. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me on this part. Let's take it for a short little drive to see how this Navigator feels on the road, because this thing is a behemoth. It may not be the easiest thing to drive for everyone. So let's dive into that right now. Okay, guys, we are in the Navigator. Gonna buckle up real quick. Vehicle is on as well. And yeah, it's simple driving experience, I think, other than it's a massive boat of, of an SUV. I don't know if you can see the heads-up display on camera, but there is a massive heads-up display right there. You have all your systems, and we went through that in the full review. But let's pop it into drive. To do that, we pop it into drive using this piano key selector, and here we go. Put it into reverse. We have our reversing cameras come up on the display. Let's put it into drive real quick, and off we go. Now this Navigator, I said this earlier, it sounds good for a twin-turbo V6, and it's actually pretty impressive how they're able to get that exhaust note, but I guess Ford was able to do that when they kind of worked the exhaust around on the new Raptors, on the F-150 side of it, and they made that exhaust sound good, so I guess they applied that to the Navigator. But it is still incredibly quiet in here. We have acoustic laminated glass, and this is all something you would expect from a vehicle that costs $100,000 plus, which this one does. And this is still not fully loaded up a vehicle, which is crazy. Like I said, it is supremely quiet in here. You do have ventilated and heated seats, automatic climate control, and all of those wonderful features, of course, as you would expect in a Navigator. And I do want to point out that this does not have air suspension. That is something that you're going to find in a Cadillac Escalade, for example, as well as the more body-on-frame competitors such as a Mercedes GLS and the X7, even a Range Rover as well. But I do have to say, if you don't get the heavy-duty towing package, which unfortunately is standard on the top trim BlackLabel models, the car actually rides a little bit better. With the heavy-duty towing packages, it is going to firm things up, I think, just because of the additional towing that the thing is capable of. That was one little tidbit I did learn about these Lincolns, is that heavy-duty towing packages can actually make the ride a little bit firmer. I believe this one does have it, because we do have additional tow settings on this one. But nonetheless, it is still pretty comfortable. Like I said, we do have different drive modes if you want to activate those, but honestly, driving this at normal is more than enough. You have all your comfort and a nice blend of power as well in there. Now, I will say, getting used to these seats can take a while, especially getting your right adjustment into them. And I would park this in a parking lot, park it in your driveway, and spend some time figuring that out before you take this on a road, because you could be uncomfortable or supremely comfortable like I am right now, getting a massage and relaxing in this driving experience. And this is really for people that love that big commanding view of the road. And you can, I'm sitting pretty low actually in the seats right now, but you can get way up high sitting in these seats, and you really have a nice tall view over everyone on the road as well as over the hood, so you can see. And shockingly, actually, it's not that difficult to kind of maneuver around. This hood is kind of shorter and lower than I was expecting, and honestly, I found it more difficult to drive something like the new Mazda CX-50, which had, the hood was higher and lower compared to where you're sitting in the driver's seat, and I actually found that more difficult to maneuver around versus this, which is a really weird tidbit that I noticed. And the 360 cameras and parking sensors obviously help with that tremendously, so honestly, it's not something you really ever have to worry about. Now, going off of this kind of display you have up here, there's not that much stuff you can configure. If you do put it in the different drive modes, it doesn't really do too much even then. So, for example, if you put it in Excite mode, 4x4 shift in progress, nothing really changes. But you can configure stuff that's happening in the center display. Let me just go back to normal and balance, and you can see what's happening with the four-wheel drive system. So, in normal mode, we're in rear-wheel drive high mode for the gearbox. If you put it in Excite, you're in 4x4 kind of high mode, so it's going on all four wheels at all times. So that's something to keep note of. And of course, if you go in the different modes, that will adjust and it'll let you know what's happening with that. But you can see when we try to adjust our heads-up display, you can see a different menu will pop up there. You can also cycle through what's happening in the center multifunction display right there. If you guys can see that, tire pressure, seat belts, and you just have like a blank screen if you want that, your trip information, fuel economy. Again, pretty basic stuff in there, nothing too crazy. You do have some settings with your display setup if you want to kind of go into this a little bit more. But again, it's really, really basic information, nothing too crazy. Like this, I do like this calm display right here, actually. That's really cool. Now, I'm going to try my best to kind of demonstrate the Lincoln ActiveGlide system to you guys, but I'm not sure if it's going to work with the camera on my head, because I may need to try to see my eyes better. What is this traffic being held up here, guys? There we go. But you definitely got some stairs when you have a camera glued to your head. That's one thing to keep note of. Now, I have found using this infotainment display is pretty simple while you're driving, but depending on how you're sitting, it might be a little difficult to reach all the way over. You're gonna have to like get out of your seat a little bit to reach over, which I have found to be a little bit annoying. I think they do notice that, and they kind of moved all the main menu displays over to your left side a little bit, which I have noticed. You have this little additional display with some lower control buttons on there. So I think they kind of took that into notice right there. But still, if you do need to get stuff on that display, it is a little bit difficult to reach over there sometimes, depending on who you are. Now, this Navigator, of course, all the Navigators are using the same engine, twin turbocharged EcoBoost V6 under the hood, over 400 horsepower. It is pretty powerful and potent. I believe it's quicker than even the Escalade's V8, which is impressive. And I don't know how much it's doing better on fuel economy, but I think it's a fine engine. I really don't think you're missing anything out if you get this versus the Escalade engine, which has a big naturally aspirated V8. Now, on the highway, it is also really smooth of a vehicle. People jumping in and out of the lanes over there. It's pretty smooth, which is nice. And now I'm going to try to activate SuperCruise right now for you guys. Lane keeping system on. ActiveGlide is on. Watch the road. Be prepared to resume control. So it's pretty simple to use. And now we're on ActiveGlide. So I am actually legally allowed to take my hands off of the steering wheel, which is super cool. You can kind of see this animation on there, which is really nice. And it will beep at me if I kind of like look away from the screen right there. See, look, keep hands on the steering wheel. So it's gonna alert me if I turn my head away. And that's thanks to these infrared cameras. So it's always watching your eyes while you're on the road. And it's really not coming off in this display right here, but the heads-up display in the Navigator is one of my favorite in the entire industry. It is huge, and it kind of shows all this information up there. And I really do like the blue animation for the ActiveGlide. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it's cool. It works pretty well, but you do have to keep your eyes straight on the road for it to kind of be super functional. And turning it on and off is as easy as pressing a button, and now you're back to normal driving once again. And if you do need acceleration in the Navigator, you have it for sure. A lot of torque and power from that engine. And it is impressive how smooth it is as well. Really, really nice. Now, obviously, you're not going to be buying the Navigator for something that's going to handle well. It is a big truck-based SUV. If you're looking for something like that, you're probably going to want to go with one of the unibody-based vehicles, such as like a BMW X7, a Mercedes GLS, or even a Range Rover Sport, which is significantly smaller than this. Or you can stay in brand with Lincoln and go for the Aviator, which also offers 3 rows of seating and is a rear-wheel drive based unibody frame, all aluminum, not a truck-based frame. It does drive a little bit better, but of course you are going to sacrifice that gigantic feeling and a little bit of space that you're going to be missing out, because this thing is a huge box of a school bus at the end of the day. That's pretty much it. I just want to take you guys on a short drive, and thank you guys for joining me on this video of the 2023 Navigator. Stay tuned for a lot more stuff coming real soon.